Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Well, it is 0 dark 30, and we're blasting out of the bunker, going into the night. I tell you what, folks, it would be great to be able to sleep for once. But as I think as Conan the Barbarian once said, time enough for the rest in the grave, right? I tell you what, we've got a lot to go over this week as shit hits the fan increases, the intensity increases, the risk, the danger, and the threats all increase as well. What is happening? Well, we've got a presidential election fighting between whether we get a socialist democracy, which means pure socialism, no democracy, or we keep our constitutional republic and restore it. So, folks, I'm going to do a little recap with you, I think. Where do we stand with everything? Well, the thing that just sticks out the most, and I'm going to start with it, is Trump is a Nazi. Trump is Hitler. When you're campaigning, folks, there's two ways to go. You can talk about the positives of your own campaign and yourself, and you can talk about the negatives of your opponent, right? So dirty politics is talking about your campaign opponent. Very common. They use the term dirty or mudslinging to describe the technique, but it's extremely common. It's not outside, shall we say, the practice of good taste. In other words, it's very common. But you should also be able to speak well of yourself, of your own policies. And so you're left with those options. Now, once you have those options, you try and find things that resonate with people, that are good, that are polling well, right? In other words, your constituents like it, and it may even dissuade enthusiasm from the opposing party's voters, right? You don't want them to be excited to vote. You want them upset to vote. You want them to hate their candidate and like you. Well, over the weekend, Kamala Harris was asked by mainstream media what her internal polling is telling her. And she said, well, once it was explained to her what the internal polling was about, she gave out one of her cackles, and she said, well, her internal polling for the party is her intuition. And I think that was an attempt to refer to female intuition, a woman's intuition. In other words, she automatically knows what's right and wrong and how to do things because, she's a woman. Well, I mean, here we go again, trying to define a woman. Well, I guess she's not one because her intuition sucks. It does. It absolutely is atrocious. She's failing. Her internal polling sucks. External polling sucks. Opposition polling sucks. And that's the answer she gives as well. I have my own intuition. So what is she doing? Right? How are they campaigning? Well, can she say anything positive about her campaign? Well, of course she can. It's Kamala Harris. She grew up as a middle-class family member, and the neighborhood she was in, people were proud of their lawns. That didn't poll or play very well the first time, and it certainly didn't get any better any time after that. And then it was used to criticize her, if you will. She became a laughing stock over that. It didn't play well. You don't keep doing things that don't play well. But they tried. They tried to make it, something that resonated with people. It failed. She's got nothing good to say about herself and her and her policies because she won't share any of her policies. Literally will not share policies. Well, we're going to do something with the tax code. Well, we're going to do something with the border. Well, we're going to do something. We just can't tell you. But one thing that they keep doing, that they will not let up on, is that Trump is Hitler. And that if you go to his rally, you're a Nazi. Okay, there's that mudslinging, right? There is, yeah. Well, give us an example of how Trump is like Hitler. Well, they don't do that. They're not into that. They're not going to go that because it just doesn't really exist. Right? Trump, he's not invading other countries. In fact, he's anti-war. He is pro-peace, right? He's not doing what Hitler did. But she's continuing to call him Hitler because Hitler is, historical pariah, the worst man alive, right? He's a name, even though he didn't kill as many people as communist leaders like Pol Pot and Stalin, and Lenin, other great communist pieces of shit. He only killed 10 million people, Hitler. So, he's not as bad as the others, but still, he's the name we all associate with ultimate evil. They're going to keep trying it, folks. They keep calling him Hitler. They did a great job. They used a projector to project onto Madison Square Garden. Trump is Hitler. Cracking me the fuck up, babe. You're supposed to do what works, and you keep doing what works. I do not see or hear liberals getting excited that Trump is Hitler. I mean, some of them get scared and they're like, "Oh my God, he's Hitler. We're all going to die." That's not a real positive campaign message. It's not one that people really understand and get behind because it's manufactured. It's bullshit. Not to say that Democrats, and I'm talking about street Democrats, they love a good lie. They love a bad lie. They love any lie that they think will help get their candidate elected. I have not heard that Democrats are going to go vote because Trump is Hitler. But that's probably the best thing they have in their world of campaigning. Nothing else is working. I mean, she tried, and this is a great one. She tried mimicking what works with the other candidate, right? Oh, okay, yeah. The wheel is round. Round can roll. The wheel is good for transportation. Civilizations saw one person do it, and they copied it. They mimicked it. They did it. Hey, look, the wheel, it works. Right? You don't need to reinvent something. You need to duplicate it, and if you can, improve it. So Trump, because he can connect with other people on a personal level. They can relate to him. Trump does. Trump relates to people pretty easily, so he does. And he goes to a barber shop. He goes to a barber shop. And he hangs out. He talks. He bullshits. He sits in a chair. You see, that's the trick is he sits and hangs out and talks because he can do that. He can relate to other people. It looks normal, even though we know he's not just a regular Joe. He's Donald Trump. But he's worked, he's sweated, he's busted his ass, he's taken risks, he's been persecuted, prosecuted, picked on, shit on, crapped on, and he doesn't care. He's a fighter. He keeps coming back and punching and duking it out. He doesn't quit. Well, so going to a barbershop to relate with the common man worked for Trump. Well, Kamala thought she would duplicate that. It went over like a turd in a punch bowl because she is not relatable. Not everyone was a prostitute who sucked off mayor of Oakland. I'm sorry, mayor of San Francisco. Let me get my mayors right. I don't know if she knew anyone in Oakland, trying to create political career for himself, right? He didn't do that. That's what she did. So she's not relatable. People don't relate to her. She's never had children. She's not married and had children, that is. She hasn't done anything that the average person has done in order to get where she's gotten. So they can't relate to her. She's not likable. She's not nice. She's fucking nasty. People, her own candidate, her own constituents, rather, don't like her. They don't. Just like they don't like Hillary. Not relatable. So there's a big deal, folks. That's kind of a recap of where we're at. So the desperation level is getting bigger and bigger and bigger on the part of Kamala and the Democrats and the globalists who are backing her and want her. They may at some point have to do something much more dramatic, dangerous. Someone might even call it crazy. We're going to find out. For you and me, we need to be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. We need to be prepared because we don't know what's coming next. And chance favors the prepared mind is yours.